Hi, everyone. Welcome, teachers. Welcome to our Discover series on AutoProctor. We're going to wait for a couple of minutes till all our participants join. In the meanwhile, please say hello in the chat window and tell us your names, which school you're from, which city you're from. I can see teachers are already used to this, so they've already started saying hi. Please say hello. Tell us what you'd like to, what you're excited about during this live class. We've got a very innovative tool that we want to talk to you about called AutoProctor. Gonna just wait for a couple of minutes more. In case you're unable to hear me, please click the button join with computer audio or call via device audio on your cell phone or laptops. We're going to start in just a couple of minutes. In the meanwhile, teachers, I'm asking you to say hello. Tell us your name, your school, and which city you're from. Shivali, we are very excited about this tool. Looking forward. Good afternoon. Welcome, teachers. Welcome to our Discover series with AutoProctor. We have the founder here with us, Jayant, and we're so excited to bring to you a tool that will probably solve a couple of challenges that I know teachers are facing. In case you're unable to hear us or hear me, please join via computer audio or call via device audio on your laptop or your phone. Requesting all teachers to leave themselves on mute and to put their videos off. Video band karna hai. All right. So first of all, welcome to this class or this discovery session on AutoProctor. We're going to really explore this innovative tool and Jayant is going to tell us a little bit more about the tool. But before we get into it, I wanted to just set some ground expectations for this class, right? So we're recording this session to ensure that other teachers who haven't been able to join this class are able to watch the video. So we're requesting you to mute yourselves, keep your videos off, ask a lot of questions through chat. We will pause after every segment and try and answer those questions. And to preserve the quality of this live class, I'm requesting all teachers to just keep themselves on mute, keep your video off, and do not annotate. What you will need. So for this session, we suggest you keep pen, paper handy or your laptop phone. We're going to be pasting a few important links. So make sure as soon as those links are pasted, you actually copy paste or save that link somewhere else for later use, right? Stay engaged. Please ask a lot of questions in chat, right? We'll, if you have the answer to a question another teacher has asked, please go ahead and answer those questions. We only request that you respect each other, respect each other's opinions, and use the chat. We'll have a lot of Q&A, we'll have polls, so please keep engaged, participate as much as you can so that this will be a great experience for you. Before we go any further, I'm going to ask Umesh to please share his screen. We have a short video, a little bit about what we do at Teacher Class. I'm sure many of you have been attending our live classes for, very religiously. So just very briefly, at Teacher Class, our vision is to empower teachers, not only lead themselves, but their classrooms in the 21st century. And how we do that is by connecting them to the best innovations available for free out here. And we're a platform that's unique and it's centered only around the teacher. So watch this quick video to understand a little bit about how you can leverage this platform to the fullest degree, so that you can take away the most from our website, from our YouTube channel, and from these live classes. Umesh, you can play the video. So we have on our website a tool repository, live classes, and a lot of call to actions to register with our community. You will be able to see the schedule of our live class here if you just scroll down, and a little bit lower you'll be able to watch our in-demand tutorials. So here are simple steps with which you can leverage our platform to the fullest. You can visit our tool repository to find online free tools and offline paid tools. You'll be able to see all of the details of these online tools on our tool repository. You can also look at need-specific tools. So we've categorized them into basic collaboration tools, professional development, and virtual classroom tools. And if you click into any of the tools, you'll be able to see useful links, benefits, the features. Our YouTube channel has about 150 tutorials. So you can just subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be sharing the links in very shortly. And you will be able to watch tutorials at your own pace. All of these live classes will be available as well. And the last piece is signing up for our live classes. So we do live classes based on the emergent needs of teachers. So if you're struggling to find a solution for a challenge you're facing, you can always sign up for our live class. Thanks, Umesh. Umesh, I'm just requesting you to share all of the links.
Sure.
Thank you. All right. So without any further delay, I'm going to very quickly introduce Jayant, who's the founder of AutoProctor, or the founder of Socrates, and one of the products is AutoProctor. And so Jayant has a PhD in theoretical physics from Syracuse University. He has taught students from high school to graduate school, and is extremely passionate about using technology to help kids learn in a more engaged environment. Socrates is actually the company that he's a founder of, and their mission is to enable easy and affordable access to good quality educational content. It has built a set of tools that make it easy for any content creator to take their learning material online. AutoProctor is one of the latest offering of Socrates, and it ensures that students take online tests in a secure manner and preserving the integrity of your tests. So teachers, I know a lot of you have, shared with us your challenges, right? Students are getting 100 on 100 in their marks when, you assign your quiz to them, and you have no way of checking whether they are looking at multiple tabs or copying or asking their friends or parents for help. So that's why we decided to do a live class on AutoProctor, which is a really great add-on for Google Forms. And you can time your quizzes as well as you can have supervision. So it's nearly like an automated supervision for your quizzes, right? So I'm not going to explain any further. I'm just going to hand this over to Jayant, who's going to be the best person to take you through his great product. So Jayant, over to you. And teachers, in case you have any questions through this session, please do chat with us and drop in your questions, and we'll make sure that Jayant answers those questions.
134 plus participants are already here for spending a valuable time here. So I am just about to share my screen. So as Sonia said, I'm the founder of this company called Socrates. Socrates, the first set of products that we built were around creating engaging content in science for high school students. But as we saw around March or April, we realized that a lot of schools will go online, and we decided that there must be some way for if tests are happening online, how do we ensure that students don't cheat on the test, because that is going to be a big problem. And if you just bear with me. Let me just. Okay.
So teachers, sorry, Jen.
Yeah, good.
Teachers, before we start with, with the session, I just have a quick poll I'd like to launch, right? So requesting all teachers to just take 1 minute of their time to tell us if you've heard about AutoProctor and at all, right? We've got only 85 teachers, now 92 teachers who voted. So asking all teachers to please vote and let us know if you've heard about AutoProctor previously. I'm going to wait only for 10 to 15 more seconds. Requesting teachers to please put their videos off. All right. So I'm going to share the results, and it's pretty interesting, Jen. So we have nearly 111 teachers who attempted the poll, telling us that they've not heard about AutoProctor, and 3 have tried using it once at least. So over to you.
Yeah, okay, very good. So I see 3 have at least used it once, and 1 person is familiar with it. That's great. So thanks for the people who already tried it. And for the rest, as I said, AutoProctor is monitoring online tests. Okay, so we know that online tests are very easy to create and grade. There have already been sessions previously where I think teacher class has talked about Google Forms to create quizzes, and I think they also have a session on Microsoft Forms to create quizzes. So it's very easy to create a quiz online, and as you create the quiz, you can even grade it, right? So in fact, it's probably easier to grade and give marks using online tests than doing it by hand. But the biggest problem is how do we ensure that the students are not cheating? The cheating can happen in multiple ways. You can insert of the student. You could have students' parents always want students to score good marks. So the parents themselves can take the test, or the student can have the textbook open in front of them, and then they can just look at the answers there. Or students nowadays are very smart, right? So they will just open Google, search for the answer, and then use that answer. So how do we ensure that these things don't happen? that is the point of AutoProctor. One way of doing this invigilation remotely is having a human proctor. I know that many teachers now are doing this. They assign a quiz, and as the student is taking the quiz, they are on a Zoom call, they may be on a Hangouts call, and they're looking at the student, and then they're saying, is the student cheating or not, right? So you can have, and you just, if the student is sharing their screen or sharing their video, then you can monitor the student and decide if the student is cheating or not. If you have a class of say 50 kids, this becomes very difficult, right? So you probably need to break them out into separate groups. And let's say each teacher is managing 10 students. So then you need 5 teachers per class. And if you have 4 sections, that's a lot of teachers that you need. And the other problem here is if the student is taking the test and sharing the video, what happens if the internet goes off, right? So we know that the internet is not very stable, especially in every student's house. So then what do you do? Do you think that the student has turned the camera off and then they're cheating, or is it honestly the problem with the internet and so you're not able to see the camera, right? So even if you do this using a teacher is monitoring this, it becomes a problem because one, it's difficult to have many teachers do the proctoring. And two, there are other issues like connectivity issues that the students may face. And so then you will again not know if the student is cheating or not. And so this is where AutoProctor comes in. The name suggests itself. It's auto because it is automated. So the whole process of invigilation is automated. And proctor is just another word for invigilation. So when we say proctoring, we mean invigilation. So AutoProctor is it basically uses technology to automate all the tasks of a human proctor. So I was telling you that we could have a human at the other end. A teacher is monitoring all the activities of the student and then deciding if the student is cheating or not. AutoProctor basically says we don't need humans to do this. Whatever tasks the human is doing, we can do this automatically. Now, I will emphasize this again at the end, but the important thing here is if you think about a human doing the proctoring, the invigilation, it is not so much that the human is looking at each screen and making a detailed report of everything that is going wrong. The important thing is as the human is there on the other end of the screen, the student knows that they're being tracked, okay? And this means that the students are less likely to cheat because they are already worried that there is someone tracking them. AutoProctor's advantage is the same thing. We have detailed reports that we will discuss, but it is important for you to realize that it is more trying to prevent the students from cheating rather than come up with a detailed report. If the student knows that there is some system that is tracking the student, then it is more likely that they will not cheat. So we believe that preventing it is more effective than punishing them for what they've done. Okay. Now, I was mentioning Google Forms. I wanted to release a poll here. I think Google Forms is a great way to conduct tests. So if the teachers could, the poll is up already. If you could respond to the poll by saying how many of you have used Google Forms, then that will give me a sense. Okay, very good. So I see a good activity already. I see about 80 people who have already responded. Okay, very good. So about 110 responses already. Okay, a few more seconds and then we could stop, I think. Say 5 more seconds. It's already stabilized. Yeah, okay, very good. Okay, so the results are out. So about 70% of you have used Google Forms, and about a quarter, so about 25% of you know about Google Forms, but you haven't yet conducted it. and 6% of you have not used or do not know anything about Google Forms. Okay, so before I get into AutoProctor, I mean 70% have already used it, so I'm sure that you know how to use it. But even if you're not using AutoProctor, Google Forms are a great way to conduct quizzes. Whether you're using Google Classrooms or not, you can use Google Forms independently. The best feature about it is that it's free. And as I said, you can grade these automatically. So I'm sharing a screenshot here. So you can write the question, you can give the options, you can choose what the correct answer is. If you want to give feedback to these options, you can give that feedback, and you can even assign points. Okay, so if you set it up properly, this is especially for multiple choice questions. This is probably easier than actually doing it by hand, right? Instead of correcting a notebook or the answer paper, if you have it like this, then it automatically corrects it, and then the students can see the results instantaneously, right? So whether you use AutoProctor, I hope you do use AutoProctor, but whether you use it or not, Google Forms you must certainly look into. So as I said, only 70% are using it. The rest, it's a great tool that you must use. But there are two issues with Google Forms. One is it does not have a timer feature. Okay, so normally when you're conducting a quiz, you want to set a duration for it, say a half an hour, right? So that feature is missing from Google Forms. So if you assign the Google Form, then the students have as much time as they want to finish it. Normally, if you're conducting a quiz or a test, you want to limit the amount of time they have. So the timer feature missing is a big problem with Google Forms. And the other is the issue we've been discussing. You cannot invigilate the quizzes, right? So if Google Form is a link and you share the link with the students, you don't know if the student is taking the test and so on. So these are the two issues with Google Forms. And how do you solve issues, not just Google Forms, but any other Google product that you have? It may be Google Docs, it may be Google Slides. Google has all these products, and they also have these things called add-ons. Okay, an add-on you can think of as like an app or an extension on top of a Google product. So if you already have Google Forms or if you already have Google Sheets, you want some extra functionality, you want some extra features that are not already there in that. You can try and look to see if there is an add-on that is solving that problem. Again, I think Teacher Class has done a few sessions on add-ons like form limiter. For example, if you want to say, I only want 100 responses, right? You share the Google Form, you only want to limit it to 100 responses. If you use only Google Forms, that is not possible. You cannot use Google Forms like that. But there is an add-on called form limiter. If you use that, you can set a limit. You can say only allow 100 responses, and after 100 responses, the form is not available, right? So there are add-ons like this. I've shared a screenshot. Maybe at the end, I'll send a link, and if you go to that link, you will see a list of all the different add-ons. Okay, and you can look at the most popular ones. And then, for example, you see here, there's an add-on called Kami. Kami makes PDF documents interactive. Okay, so it's a very cool add-on. So you can take a look at that. So you can, whatever functionality is there, if you want some extra functionality, you can use add-ons, and most of them are free to use. And there are thousands of them, so you can take a look. Okay, AutoProctor is one such add-on. All right. So just the way I mentioned form limiter, I mentioned Kami. AutoProctor is an add-on to Google Forms. So currently, if you want to use AutoProctor, the only way to do it is to use Google Forms and install the AutoProctor add-on. So I'd request Sonia to share the link. So what we'll, okay, let me explain how this will work. So up to now, I've given you sort of a background into what AutoProctor does, what is the reason we've built AutoProctor. Now I want to actually do a demo, right? I want to show how to use AutoProctor. One way would be that all of you install AutoProctor, the add-on, and then I can take you through the steps, the different steps involved. So Sonia, if you could share the link to installing AutoProctor, the teachers can find this in the chat. And if you're using, ideally, if you're using this on a laptop or a computer, you should be able to see this quite easily. Even if you're using it on a phone, this will still be visible. I will show you what you have to do one extra step if you're using a phone. I will show that as well. So Sonia, have you shared the link?
Yes, Jen, the link has been shared in the chat box.
Okay. So if you have opened AutoProctor on a desktop or a laptop, and you should be able to see this link. I just want to know, can we, if you've done this on a mobile, you will see it. One second. Okay, so if you have done this,
Jen, we can see the code elements, etc. on the screen.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
In the meanwhile, teachers, if you have any questions related to AutoProctor, please drop those questions on our chat window. I'm just going to reiterate what Jen shared. So AutoProctor serves two purposes. One is it allows you to time your quizzes, and the second one is it helps you supervise or moderate your, not moderate, but invigilate your quizzes.
So this is how, sorry, Sonia, go ahead.
I've shared the link to install AutoProctor in the chat box, so requesting teachers to try to install that add-on. And the next step is to visit Google Forms and try to make your first quiz.
Right. So if you have you're here, you should see an install button, or maybe something that says domain install and individual install. If you see this domain and individual, click on individual install. Else, just click on the install button. Once you're done with this, Google will ask you to grant permissions, and then you can say continue install. Just follow the steps that Google tells you. Let me show you how this would look.
So Jen, before we get into the demo, I think there are a couple of questions that teachers have already asked us, right?
Yeah.
So there are a couple of questions about how to set the time limit, etc., which I believe you're going to be taking on during the demo. So I'm not going to address those questions right now. And teachers are asking, is it available for a Gmail user, AutoProctor?
Yeah, it's available for a Gmail user. If you have a gmail.com account, you can use AutoProctor.
Great. And secondly, this is an add-on only for Google Forms, right? So you need to have a Gmail account to be able to access and install and use AutoProctor.
Correct, exactly.
One teacher is asking, is it applicable for online exams?
Yes. So you can basically, if you use Google Forms, you can use AutoProctor. So AutoProctor does not restrict the usage. You can find your own use case. As long as you're using Google Forms, AutoProctor would work. So if you, there are, for example, universities, there are some colleges that are using AutoProctor to conduct their exams online, or it could be a tuition center. So there is no restriction on what you use AutoProctor for. All that you need to know is if your quiz or if your exam is in a Google form, then you can use AutoProctor.
All right. So basically, you can use it for an online for your examination, but only if your exam is on a Google form.
Correct. Yes.
Great. So again, that answers the question from R Day, who's asking, will it work with any other test taking portal like ClassMarker and TestMoss? I believe not now.
No, not as of now. No.
Great. So I think, again, like another teacher shared that she's taking classes on Microsoft Teams and taking tests in Microsoft Quiz. So unfortunately, right now, AutoProctor doesn't it doesn't have an add-on with Microsoft Quiz. It's only applied on Google Forms.
Correct. That's true.
All right. Someone's asking, after entering my school's email ID, it's showing that this is not allowed by the admin.
Okay, so that may happen if, so sometimes what happens is if it's a school business email ID, your admin, the IT admin, may have restricted individuals from installing add-ons. Okay, in that case, I would request that you use your personal Gmail ID for now. Try using your personal Gmail ID and installing it. And if you like it, then you can tell your IT admin, the person who's created all the Gmail accounts for the school, they will be able to install it. And that when they install it, they can install it for everyone in the school. So then you will be able to access it. So for the purposes of this demo, you can just use your personal Gmail and then try and install it.
Great. I think someone has asked about, how to, like they're taking classes and quizzes on Edmodo. And I believe Radhika ma'am has shared that you can share the Google form link in Edmodo. So that answers your question, Rekha ma'am. If you're using a Google form quiz and you're sharing it via Edmodo, you can always share the AutoProctor link of Google Forms in that platform. You can also use it in Google Classroom.
Yeah, so we will come to this, but because there are questions, the test for if you're using AutoProctor, you basically get a link. Okay, just the way Google Forms gives you a link, and you share that link on Edmodo, on WhatsApp, whatever, right? So if you want the student to take the quiz, you take that link and you give it to the students. The same way, every AutoProctor quiz, there is one link associated with it, and that link you will share with your students, however you do it, Gmail, WhatsApp, Google Classroom. So if you're sharing a Google Forms link on Edmodo, then you can also share the AutoProctor link. So that will work.
Great. So I think everyone's just asking, can we start with the demo? So
Yeah.
Jayant, over to you. Teachers, let us know if you have at least installed the add-on. After you install the add-on onto your account, you have to visit Google Forms, right? So let us know once you're done. And Jayant, you can then take it away.
Yeah, so, right. So I guess some of you have already installed it, but in case you haven't, so you will get a screen like this. It will ask you to allow AutoProctor access. You say allow, and then it takes some time, and then so it says it has been installed. So it says here, for example, where to find AutoProctor. It tells you there you can find AutoProctor and Timer plus Proctor are both the same. Okay, so don't get confused. I keep saying AutoProctor, but because there's also a timer, we've called this Timer plus Proctor. So they're the same. So Timer plus Proctor has been installed. Where to find? It tells you where to find it. I will show you that as well. Now, Sonia, if you can share the second link, which is the link to the Google Forms page. So,
yes, done.
Teachers, if you have already installed it,
all right. I think teachers that we've lost Jayant for a very short bit. So in the meanwhile, I just wanted to reiterate. So once you follow the steps that Jayant showed, you need to visit Google Forms. I'm requesting all people to please stop their videos. You will not be able to see the app because it's not an app. It is an add-on to your Google account. So you will not be able to see it. And as Jayant had showed, once you've installed, AutoProctor, what you will see is when you go to your forms link, which I have shared on screen, right? If you just visit Google Forms, this link that I've pasted on the screen, then you will be able to see AutoProctor right on top as an add-on. And I'm going to just quickly show you how it looks, if I can. So I pasted the links. It's taken me to my home screen. And say now I'm clicking on share or like create a blank quiz. So you can see this icon over here. This is your add-on for AutoProctor. You'll be able to see it only once you go onto the forms link. I hope teachers are understanding this. Please let me know if you've been able to see your add-on onto Google Forms.
Sonia, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, Sonia, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. I just lost the internet for a bit.
Yes. So then Sonia showed all the teachers the form, like as you can see on the screen, and she also showed the add-ons option over here where the mouse cursor is hovering now.
Okay. There may be a few of you who are using this on the mobile. I want to show you how to access the add-on section on the mobile.
Teachers, Jayant is now going to show us how it looks like on his cell phone. So I know some teachers have been saying that they can't see it on their cell phone. So just asking teachers to please bear with us.
So if, so as I said, this is how it will look on the desktop. Let me show you how it will look on the mobile. You should see these three dots next to W, to the left of W. You should see three dots. Click, I mean, W is my account. It will be something else for your account. But click the three dots, and then at the bottom, you should see an option that says add-ons. Okay, click on the add-ons, and then you should see timer plus Proctor. Okay, so then click on timer plus Proctor, and then you will see two options apart from help. It says settings and results. Okay, so we'll start with settings. So click on settings. You should see something like this. Okay, on your if you've clicked on settings, you should see three tabs: main, timer, and Proctor. I will explain what these mean, but you should see something like this. I will move back to the desktop view because it's clearer, but you should be able to see that settings. I just want to check how many of you have managed to install this successfully. So Sonia, could you release the poll that asks if they've been able to install it and they can see it? So on if it's on the desktop, as I said, there is an icon here that says add-ons. If you click on that, you should see timer plus Proctor. If you click on that, you should see these settings, results, and help. And if you click on settings, you should be able to see the settings sidebar load up like that. And the same thing with the mobile, except that it will not be, you'll not see all these options. You'll see those three vertical dots, And if you click on that, you should be able to click on add-ons and it will open up. Sonia, if you could release the poll.
Jen,
Jen, we have some image poll. Is that the poll you're referring to?
Correct. The 3 images, yeah.
Okay. So do you know what images you want the teachers to see? Could you elaborate that?
Okay. Then let me, hold on. I want to look at the. Okay. So these are 3 images. You should be able, the first image is what I showed you. If you click on the icon, it should say timer plus Proctor. Okay, so image 1 is seeing that timer plus Proctor. Image 2 is seeing the options, settings, results, help. And image 3 is actually seeing the settings, right? So if you, there are 4 options for the poll. If you don't even see image 1, that is, if you've not been able to install timer plus Proctor, then choose none of them in the poll. If you are able to see only image 1, and when you clicked on timer plus Proctor, you could not see image 2, then click on image 1 only. If you're able to see the timer plus Proctor option as well as the settings and the results, then click on images 1 and 2. If you're able to see the final image, that is, if you were able to see the settings sidebar open and something like this, the image 3, then you click on all images in the poll.
All right, only 33% of teachers have answered the poll. So in case you are able to see none of the images, please select none. If you're able to see only image 1, select image 1 only. The second option is if you're only able to see image 1 and 2. And if you're able to see all images, please click you're able to see all images. And I know teachers are asking, that, should I allow access when prompted to allow access? So yes, please do allow access when you're installing the add-on, because otherwise the add-on will not get installed. Okay, I think Jayant, we can proceed. I think teachers are a little busy trying to install the app. And so I'm going to quickly end the poll.
Yeah. And
I think like there are some teachers who are facing a little bit of issue in adding the add-on onto Google Forms. So teachers are just requesting you to enable access. So it'll prompt you to say allowing your Google account to access certain features. You have to say yes, allow. That will help you install the add-in. It is not paid. So if you install this, nothing, you're not going to be charged anything, right? So if you will be already getting credits, so you can use those credits before you be prompted to pay. And it is used only for Google Forms. So without any further delay, I think, Jayant, you can go ahead and just demo like the different features, the settings that teachers need to keep in mind while activating this product.
Yeah. So I see from the poll that, for example, 32% were not able to install it. So don't worry. If you see here, the screenshot, it says about 1.55 lakh installs, right? So it's actually quite easy to install and start using it. What we will do is maybe I will send one link at the end of the call, which has all the instructions on how to use it. Okay. So if you have not been able to install it, don't worry too much. Understand what the different settings mean. At the end of the, towards the end of the webinar, I will share one link that one link has all the information that you will need, and so then you can start using it. Okay. So let me, I'll open this up. So here you see there is an empty form. But
Jayant, we can't see your screen.
Okay. Okay.
Now we can.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So you should be able to see an empty form here, and so if you're creating a quiz, then obviously this will be, I don't know, say history quiz. Right. So history quiz. When did World War II end? And then you can give the options and so on, right? So you see that the add-on has nothing to do with the form. You create the quiz like you would normally, okay? The add-on is just adding an extra feature to the Google form. So even if you've not used the add-on, but you've used Google Form, you should be able to do this. So finish creating your quiz. And at the end, once you're done, if you haven't even opened it, so even if it's an existing form, I opened a new Google form here, but let us say that you have already created a quiz and you want to use AutoProctor for that. So even if it is an existing form, again, the procedure is simple. Click there, click on Timer plus Proctor, wait for the settings to open up. And what do the settings mean? So by default, the Proctor is enabled. So Proctor is the invigilation part, and there is a timer that is disabled to begin with. So let's say you want to have a timer. So you want to set the quiz duration for 20 minutes. So you will write 20 there, and you want to set a start date, right? So you can choose the date as 30th July. So which means that if you choose 30th July, then before 30th July, students will not be able to take the test. Okay, so you can choose the date. Let us say you've created the form today, you share the link with the students, but if you have set a start date and start time, before the start date and start time, the students cannot take the test. Similarly, there's an end date and end time. So let's say you want to say after 31st July, 12 p.m. noon, no one can take the test. You can just choose that, right? Choose 31st July, you can choose 12 noon, choose some time. And beyond that time, the students will not be able to take the test. Okay, so this is straightforward. And duration, you know, if it's a test for 20 minutes, it's 20 minutes. The way it works is the student will see a timer for 20 minutes when the test starts. And if you choose this option that says AutoClose Test, okay, if you choose this option, then at the end of 20 minutes, the test basically disappears. Okay, so if I had, so you know how these tests would look, right? So it will look like this. The student will have this kind of a form. If you choose that the test is 20-minute duration, and if you choose this AutoClose Test option, then after 20 minutes, this form, the student will not be able to interact with the test. If you leave it like this, that is, if you have not selected AutoClose Test, the student can continue to take the test after 20 minutes. But when you get the report, it will say there that the student took extra time. Okay, so this is something that you need to bear in mind. And if you want to understand any property, just hover over that, and if you go over this icon, it will explain what that setting is. Okay, so this is for the test. Very safe. Most teachers will want to use the duration part, right? Not so much start and end, the duration part. And remember what this AutoClose does.
So Jen,
it's very, yeah.
I'm just going to, before you go into like any other part, because you've got two important questions that teachers have raised on just this section. So one is, if I choose AutoClose Test, will the form be submitted by default?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then continue.
Yeah. So this is a very important point to note. If you do AutoClose Test, by default, the responses will not get submitted. Okay. What does this mean? I am taking this test. Let us say I've chosen this as option 1. Okay. And the test is auto-closed, but the student has not clicked on submit. Then all the responses are lost. Okay, so if you're using AutoClose Test, be very careful, because it means that if whatever work the student has done, if the test gets auto-closed, we will not be able to get the responses back. Okay, so they will get the student gets a warning saying you have only 20 seconds left, please click on submit. But if they ignore the warning and they don't click on submit, so there is this, if they don't click on this submit, then the responses are lost. So I actually recommend that this is not enabled. Okay, even when you come, it says here, if disabled, test automatically closes once test is up. If test taker doesn't click on submit, all answers will be lost. So be very careful, especially if you're giving this for the first time to your students. Disable this, because they're trying to understand how the system works. Maybe once they're familiar with AutoProctor, then you can enable it. But I would recommend that the first few tests, you don't use AutoClose Test. Sonia, you mentioned one more question.
Yeah, I think one question is, if we set the date and beforehand collaborate. Okay, if we set a date and time, right, or restriction, can collaborators check the form before the set date?
Yes. So all this is okay. Before that, let me explain. You see here, there is this thing called a test link. Okay, so every Google form has one test link. Okay, so if I open one more Google form and I do the settings, it will generate a different test link here. Okay, so every form has one link, and you can share the same link with your entire class or whomever you want to share it with. Every other add-on which has timers for Google, each student needs a separate link. Okay, the advantage of AutoProctor as a timer is one link is sufficient for your entire class. So, for example, there's an add-on called Timify, or there's an add-on called Form Timer. Here, you cannot use one link for your full class. Each student will get their own link. Whereas with AutoProctor, you can share one link. Okay, so when I say that the test cannot be started, what I mean is this link, right? So it's autoproctor.co. When you click on copy link, it gets copied. When the student visits this link, and if it's not the start time yet, they will see that they cannot access the test. Okay, it will say they cannot start test, but this does not affect anything within the Google form. Okay, so you can do whatever changes you want to the Google form. It doesn't that we don't impact. So if you have a bunch of teachers collaborating, then you can make all the changes you want on Google form. It is only when they visit the AutoProctor link, then the students will not be able to take the test.
Okay, so just to clarify, then teachers, like when you want to collaborate on your quiz with other teachers, you can just simply share it using the Google form link, and you don't have to share it using the AutoProctor test link, as Jayant has shared, right?
Yeah.
So one teacher is asking, if I set the duration and the start time, do I really need to set an end time as well?
No, you don't. So sometimes the only thing is, especially if the student is taking the test for the first time, then they may take some time to understand how it works. Okay, so let's say you want the test to start at 11 a.m. and you want it to be for 15 minutes. Now, if you set an end time of 11:15, you're giving exactly 15 minutes window. And if the student takes some time to log in and do other things like that, then that may not be enough. But you certainly don't have to use all of these, right? So as I said, most people use only the duration. They will just set the duration and they will share the link, and the students can take the test. Or if you want to be a little more restrictive, you can set the duration and the start date and time. It is not required that you set all the properties. Even just setting one of them will do.
Okay, all right. So is it, so many teachers are asking if this is free or paid. So if you could just address that, because I think everyone is asking those questions.
Okay, so there is a slide on that. If you want to come to the end. Okay.
No, I mean,
So-
Jayant, if you could just stay on your shared screen and just show like the limit of free things that you can see, right?
So this is the one, right? Are you able to see the pricing screen?
Yeah, Jayant, but I'm asking you if you can just go to your form.
Okay, that's right. Okay, sorry.
So teachers, this
So
is
if
free. It's
if
free
you're on the
and
main, yeah. So on the main screen, the first link that you see, it says there remaining 200 and there's a clock, and 50 and there's a tick. It means that when you first create your account, you get 200 test attempts for free. When I say test attempt, I mean when one student has successfully submitted the test. Okay, so let us say you have 50 students, and let us say you have given them 2 tests each. Then if everyone has submitted the test, the total number of test attempts is 50 into 200. Okay, so when you create the test, you get 200 test attempts for the timer and 50 test attempts with the proctor. So you get this for free. And once you've finished a few tests, you will automatically get an email with a link to the survey. If you finish that survey, you get 300 more tests for free. Okay, so you start with 200, and if you finish the survey, you get 300 more for free. So effectively, when you start, you get 500 test attempts for free, and you get 50 proctor tests for free. And after that, there's a pricing involved.
okay. I think, Jayant, we can move on. We'll take more questions as we progress. I think teachers will be able to build a better understanding as well.
Yeah. Okay, so all this was the timer, and then there's a proctor as well. This is the core, the main part. So what are the different things that the proctor does? Okay, so one of the things it tracks is tab switching. So I mentioned that the easiest way to cheat is to open google.com and search for an answer. So as the student is taking the test, if they open a different tab or if they go to a different application, that gets tracked. Okay, so that's what tab switching means. When the student is moving away from the test, AutoProctor says, okay, the student went away from the test for 10 seconds, right? So there's a tab switching that we track. We track the camera. Now, by camera, I mean the student is taking the test. We are monitoring the student's video feed throughout. And if, let us say, there are 2 people who are looking at the screen, okay? Or the student has kept the phone away or the laptop away, and they've gone and tried opening a book. So the minute that this AutoProctor detects that people have moved away from the screen, the camera tracking makes a note of it. It says, okay, for 10 seconds, there was no one visible on the screen. Or if it hears some audio, right? So if let's say the student is taking the test and their parent is telling them the answer from behind. If AutoProctor detects that there is some audio, there's some noise that's being generated, it will track it and record it. Okay, and also throughout the test, it takes a few photos at random. Okay, so if let's say it's a 1-hour test, at 7 minutes, 12 minutes, randomly, it takes a photo of the person taking the test. So once the test is over, when you get the report, you can actually review the people who took the test. Again, I want to go back to the point I made about AutoProctor being a preventive tool. Okay, before the student attempts the test, they watch a video where all this is explained. We explain to the student that tab switching, photos at random, all these things are taken. What that means is mentally the student knows that there is a system behind all this, and so then they're more careful. I mean, they will not cheat because they know that there's a system tracking it. The last 2 settings, communication, me after the test. This means that if this is enabled, right, so I can disable it. If it is enabled, any evidence of the cheating. So I told you that the person may get audio from their parents. If this is enabled, these audio files are actually recorded. And you can, when you review the report, you can actually hear the audio, okay? But if you're concerned about privacy, if you don't want to record the audio and the images, then you can disable this. What this means is the student gets notified when they hear when AutoProctor detects an audio or a video, the student will see a notification saying audio detected or video, multiple faces detected. So the student will then be more careful. And that's what this setting means. User during the test is whether we inform the student of the student's violation. If this is disabled, the student does not see any notifications. And if you enable this, it only gets stored. Okay. So again, I want to take a step back. As the student is taking the test, there are a bunch of things that we track about the student's test environment. And if AutoProctor detects that there is some violation occurring, it stores it. Okay. At the end of the test, once the test has been submitted, there is a trust score that gets generated. Okay. So it let us say that it's a test for 1 hour. Okay. At the end of 1 hour, the AutoProctor will calculate. Okay, there were, I don't know, 10 violations that occurred. Okay, and then it will assign a trust score for that test attempt. If there were only 10 violations in 1 hour, the trust score will be high. Whereas if in a 10-minute test, if there were 20 violations, the trust score will be low. Okay, so you saw how when you clicked on settings, this is the window that you got. There is also the results, right? So you see there is, when I click on Timer plus Proctor, there is another option called results. Now, when you click on results, you will get a list like this. Okay, this is an actual test that we've conducted. You see there are 1,951 responses, and you see the names, the time at which they submitted, and the trust score. Okay, so after all your students have finished the test, you can open the Google form. You can go into the add-ons, click on Timer plus Proctor, click on results. It will show you the results of the performance. And you see, by default, it gets sorted by the lowest trust score. So you see the lowest trust scores here. You see a bunch of 0%. And you see the name and you see the trust score. Now, if you see very low trust score, you may want to understand what happened. How did the student get such a low trust score? So then you click on any of these. It will open up a result page. Okay. So you see here, this is a trust score of 0%. It tells you who the name of the person, and it tells you the different errors that occurred, right? So it says here, no face detected. On 21st July at around midnight, no face was detected. Same. So continuously there was no face detected, and you can actually see an image. You see this image. This person, what has happened is they've turned the lights off in the room, I think. And so there was no light. And so AutoProctor could not detect a face. And so you see a bunch of no face detected. You'll also see, I don't know where, but if there are, you can see here, noise detected, right? It shows you the recording. So any violation that occurs, AutoProctor stores that violation for you to review. So the way I would conduct this whole thing is do the settings, right? Use this and go here. First, finish your test. Finish creating the test. Don't worry about AutoProctor. Then open the settings page. Configure it the way you want, right? You set a duration. You decide what things to track and so on. Once you finish these things, click on Update Settings, and then come to the main page. Copy the link. Okay, copy the link to the test. Share it with the students. And once you know that the students have finished the test, go back to the results page, load all the results, and anything that has a low trust score. Now, teachers often ask me, what is a low trust score? Anything, let's say less than 60% or 70%, you can think of it as a low trust score. Click on that link. It will open up what has happened. Just because some test has a low trust score does not mean that the student has cheated. Okay, it's very important that you understand that, especially with everyone doing this in their homes. You could just have a baby walk by, right? Or you could have someone cooking and then, I don't know, the mixer getting turned on. So these things will be detected as violations by AutoProctor, because after all, it's an automated machine. It doesn't have the intelligence to find out if it's an actual violation or not. Anything that it thinks is a violation, it will record it. So if you see a low trust score, click on the link and try and understand what happened. And if you see here, this is not a violation, but in some cases I've seen there are two people sitting side by side, right? So it's clearly a violation because one person is probably helping the other person. And then you can go back to the student and say, look, we have evidence of this happening. from the next time onwards, do not do this. So take the test with more integrity. Okay, so I think how are we doing on time? We've overshot a bit, Sonia.
Yes, Jayant, we're a little stretched with time. So, was there anything else that we wanted to show?
No, I want to. I could do an actual demo so that they see how it looks.
Yeah, maybe, I think that would be really helpful for the teachers.
Yeah. Okay, so you should see the homepage of this is the AutoProctor homepage. What I shared earlier was the add-on, the listing page. This is AutoProctor's own site. If you click on this install for free, this will basically take you to the page that we saw where we installed it. Let me show the try it yourself. So if you see at the top, it says start test, right? And it says load Google test. This is the link. This is the kind of link that you will give your students.
Jan, could you paste that link in the chat so teachers can also try it while you're trying it?
Let me finish the demo and then I'll share at the end because they'll get confused. When the student loads the test, the first thing they will see is a video like this. Okay, so the video will explain how AutoProctor works, and actually they cannot click on this got it button until they play the video. All right, so they'll play the video, they'll understand how it works, and it then tells them to close their tabs and applications. Okay, again it makes them wait. Okay, and now it actually is installing the AutoProctor software on their machines. So this takes some time. Okay, so it always takes some time, so you have to bear with it. Every time a test is taken, this is so you see here, if you look at the bottom where it says how AutoProctor works and all this is exactly a Google form, right? So this is what you will, whatever test you've created, this is what they will see. The student does not see anything different. Whatever questions you've created, the student will see those questions. At the top right, you see there's a timer. So I have set this, I think, for 4 minutes. Okay. So if you look at the question here, it says there's a timer on the right. Click on the timer, it will disappear. Click there again, it will appear. Did it work? So if I click on the timer, it should disappear and appear. Okay. So yes. Now it says here, try covering the camera with your hand for a few seconds. The feedback box should say no face detected. So I'm actually going to cover the camera with my hand, and I'm going to stay quiet. You should have seen it saying no face detected. Okay, so this is what I mean by automatically the system is figuring out by the camera feed that there is no face being detected. I don't have anyone with me right now, but if there were 2 people, the feedback box where it's saying noise detected would have said no face or multiple faces detected. Okay, so it is automatically processing the video and then it is storing it somewhere. Okay, and throughout this I've been talking, so you should have seen that there it says noise detected. All right, so if you remember the settings, it had tab switching, it had camera, and it had audio. So you're seeing here the camera and the audio aspects working. Okay, and then this is again a very important thing. Once all the questions are done, they must first click on this submit button. Okay, once they click on the submit button, they must then click on the green submit button, and that's what it says here. Once you've finished with all the questions, click on this purple submit button, which is the normal Google Form submit button that people click, and then click on the green submit button. Okay, if they do not click the submit button, so if I try clicking directly, it asks there, have you clicked on the submit button at the bottom? Okay, I haven't finished submitting, because if they don't click this and they click this and they click this directly, again all the responses will be lost. Okay, so they have to click the purple submit button and then click the green submit button. Okay, so I will now share the link to the test. Maybe people can try it, and if at the same time, if there are questions, people can ask those questions as well. So we can. I'm just typing this in chat.
Thanks, Jayant. I think there are a ton of questions that teachers have asked. So I'm going to just go through the questions. So could you please just show the difference between the Google form link and the AutoProctor link? If you could just go to the form and show the teachers that there is like the difference between the two.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me close necessary tabs. Okay. So if you look at this, it says here test link, right? This is the AutoProctor link. Okay, whatever you see within the window, within your settings window, that is your AutoProctor link. The Google form link is normally what you would do if you were sharing only the Google form is you would click on send, right? You will get this link and you can either email it to them or you can copy the link from here and share it. Okay, if you send this link, if you send just the Google Forms link, then they will not have the AutoProctor. Okay, it will be like you are not using AutoProctor at all, right? You can send the link directly. The Google form will open. They will see the normal Google form, the way you've been doing it up to now. If you want the AutoProctor features to be involved, you have to copy the link from within this settings sidebar where it says copy link. Okay, so it says test link, it says copy link, copy the link, and then you can open a new tab and you can paste it. You will see there, it will look like this, autoproctor.co/tests/start test, and then there's an ID. There's a label for that test. Okay, so AutoProctor link and the Google form link are very different. If you want both the timer as well as the Proctor features enabled, you have to share the AutoProctor link. One more thing I want to mention, not just the link, but generally, I told you earlier that about 1.6 lakh installs have happened, and this has only been over the past. It's been about 40 days since we launched the product. Okay, so many people have been able to use it effectively because the entire process is quite automated. A lot of the communication happens via email. Okay, so it's very important that you track your email. The minute you create your account, you would have seen everyone should have received an email, and every time you create, you open the settings bar, again, you will get an email with the same link, the link that you're seeing here, you will get an email with that link. So anytime you want to share the link, you can either open the settings bar or just look at your email. The first time someone submits a test, you will again get an email with the links to the report, right? So please keep track of your email because all the communication is automated, and all the we don't take phone numbers, so we don't send SMSs. Everything happens over email. So just keep a tab on your email. Oh, Sonia, other questions?
So then teachers, just to reiterate, when you want to share your form to collaborators with other teachers, right? You share using the send button on Google Forms. And if you want your test to be taken by your students and you want it to be proctored or timed, then you have to copy the link in the settings box on AutoProctor. I think, Jen, there's another question where is it possible after, say, for example, the time has lapsed, right, for responses to get submitted forcefully?
For responses to get, sorry?
Submitted, like after the time has finished on AutoProctor.
Yeah, so this goes back to the AutoClose test. If the AutoClose test is enabled, then after the time has lapsed, the Google form, right? You saw the form. So the form basically, this form will disappear. So the students cannot interact with it, right? So that you will not be able to get any more responses if you selected AutoClose test. If you have not selected this, then even after the time has elapsed, the students can continue to do it, but you will get a report. In the report, it will say these students took more time than was allotted, right? So if it's a 15-minute test, if someone submitted at 17 minutes, it will tell you that this person took 17 minutes to do the test. So the only way to prevent is to select AutoClose test, but remember that it's, if they don't click on the submit button, all the responses will be lost. So that's the only scary part about the AutoClose test.
All right. And can we set the reminder as sound? Like when you're reminding students that you have only 1 minute left in your test, please hit the submit button. Does AutoProctor allow to set that reminder as sound?
No, we don't have the sound because of some various browser problems. We don't have it as sound. What they will see is they will see an alert box. They will actually get notified when they have about 30 seconds left. They will get an alert box. In fact, if you teachers are taking the test, the demo test, the link I've shared, don't click on the submit button. Wait for the last 10-15 seconds. You will see a pop-up and it will say you have 10 seconds left. So you will see how the students will see it. But there's no sound. We only visually indicate. Yeah.
All right. And I think someone's asking that is student sign-in required?
Yes, Google sign-in is required.
Student sign-in. So we know that on Google Forms, we can share a form link with students via WhatsApp, making the form visible to all. So the student really doesn't have to sign in or have a Gmail ID then. He or she can just access and attempt the quiz without having a Gmail ID. That's one of the things that we had shown teachers how to use on Google Forms, given that students may not have email IDs. So the question here is that if I keep those settings on my Google Forms where anyone with access to the link can attempt the form, then when I share the AutoProctor link, will the student still be able to attempt that form?
No, Google sign-in is the first step to access any AutoProctor test because if you want these results, we need to know if you don't have a sign-in, we will not know this 0% belongs to whom, right? There must be some way for us to identify that this 0% belongs to that email. So if you see here, it's saying giving the email ID. So Google sign-in is required because that is how we identify that these violations were committed by this student.
Okay. I think a lot of teachers are asking if you can just talk about the pricing once the free licenses finish. We have a couple of more questions as well. So,
so this is the pricing. As I said, you get 50 and 500. So you get 50 Proctor tests and 500 timed only tests. And now beyond that, if you want, again, there are two varieties, right? One is only a timer. If you had taken only a timer for 375 rupees, that's $5 US, you get 1,500 test attempts. Okay, so again, let me a test attempt is one successful submission of the test. Let's say you have a section with 30 kids, and then so if you take this, then they can take 50 tests, right? Each of them can take 50 tests, and you have to pay 375 if it's only a timer. If you're using timer and Proctor, then it's basically 6 times as expensive. So for 375 rupees, you get 250 test attempts. Okay, so if you go to the pricing page, this is mentioned, and once your account balance, this 50 and 500 that you see, once this starts decreasing and you try to hit almost zero, again you will get an automated email that reminds you need to recharge, and it gives you the link where you can recharge, and then you can go there and do it.
All right. Can you elaborate a little bit between the differences between a timer and Proctor?
Yeah, so the timer and Proctor are completely independent. So any test on AutoProctor could have 3 settings. It could have only timer, it could have only Proctor, or it could have timer and Proctor, right? So you see the settings here. Timer has nothing to do with Proctor. It only tells you how long the test should be for, and when the test should start and when the test should end. Okay, that's it. It is only to do with time. Proctor has nothing to do with time. It tells you when the student is taking the test, what do we monitor? Okay, so if you don't want Proctor, you can just you can come here, choose disable Proctor, do only enable timer, and then set whatever you want in the timer field, and then go back here and then copy the link and share it. And if you're using only a timer, in the balance, you start with 200. Let's say one student submits, it becomes 199. Okay, so only depending on the settings, either the timer only will change or timer plus Proctor will change. Or you can say I don't want any timer features, then just disable that, do enable Proctor, and whatever settings you have here, those settings will be used, and there won't be any restriction on how long or when they can start and so on. So it could either be timer only, Proctor only, or a combination of both.
Okay. I think like a lot of teachers have asked different variations of the same question. And the question is that, so for example, if I am on my phone and I'm taking the test, right? When I go on to Google Forms and I'm taking the test, how is it capturing my face?
So if you're on the phone, it uses the phone camera. So your students need to have a smartphone. So it needs to have both a camera and a mic for them to be able to access it. If they do not have a camera and mic, and if you've enabled this camera and microphone, then unfortunately they will not be able to take the test. So if I'm so this is my phone and I'm taking the test like this, it takes my front-facing camera and it takes the mic from the phone and it does the analysis after that. So it uses the camera's phone and mic.
Okay. And
the phone's camera and mic. Yeah.
All right. So basically, teachers, it works even if you switch between tabs, everything, right? Like as long as the AutoProctor link is open on the child's phone or laptop, the camera will keep continuously taking pictures and monitoring whether the student is switching tabs, what is the noise or sound level, etc. I think some teachers have asked that, sometimes what they do is that they send a video for the student to watch, right? And then after the students have watched the video, the students have probably got to draw something on a piece of paper and take a picture of that and upload that onto their camera. Will AutoProctor catch this as a violation?
If so, I'm assuming that the uploading of the image is happening within Google Forms. If it is, yes, AutoProctor will capture this as a violation. But as I said, just because it's a violation doesn't mean it's wrong. I mean, doesn't mean that you get disqualified. The student continues to take the test, and if this is happening only for a few seconds in a 15-minute test, then the trust score will not get affected very much, right? The trust score depends on the frequency of violations, how often a violation occurs. So if you have, this is just one small section of your entire test, then it won't get affected very much. But even if it did, you can just review the evidence and you will see that, okay, this was because the child had to watch the video, and so you just disregard it. It's not like the points that the child scores gets reduced automatically, right? This is just for you to review.
All right. Okay. And I think Jayant, the entire process of Google Forms, right? Like answer sheet, Excel sheet, certificate, like, you have like different add-ons that you add on to Google Forms, right? And then you have AutoProctor as well. Correct. So if now, for example, I have used CertifyM, which is my certificate generator on Google Forms, I've enabled that. I'm enabling some other, add-on that I want on my Google Form as well. And now I've also enabled AutoProctor. Does AutoProctor then, like, does it interfere with anything? Like, because I have my certificate add-on also, and, other add-ons, will it interfere with the ability of AutoProctor to run?
Okay, good question. So now the add-ons can be of two types. One is, for example, if it's a certificate generator, that does not really change the link that you share with your students, right? You share the same link with your students, the Google Forms link, and then the student takes the test and then a certificate is generated. Whereas there are some add-ons, for example, for the timer, there are two add-ons, Timify and Form Timer. Both of them do something similar to AutoProctor. They have their own link. Okay, like I have a test link here. Both of them have their own test link for the timer feature. Now, obviously, you cannot then use both add-ons, right? Because if you give the AutoProctor link, the AutoProctor add-on will be enabled. If you give the other add-ons link, that add-on will be enabled. So as long as the link, as long as the add-on is not changing the link that you share. For example, AutoProctor is changing it. You don't share the Google Forms link, you share the AutoProctor link. So if you're sharing, like the certificate one does not change the link, it's the same link. In those cases, the the AutoProctor can coexist.
Okay.
So it won't conflict.
All right.
But if you're changing the link, there'll be a problem.
All right. So I think to answer the questions, if your add-on requires a unique link for it to work, then you will have to choose between using either that add-on or AutoProctor, right?
Yeah.
But if your add-on, the other add-ons that you want to put onto your Google Forms don't have a unique link, then they will get enabled, and you can just simply share the test link on the AutoProctor box. I hope that is clear to everyone, because I can see some teachers still asking the same question. So yes, we can use two add-ons, provided that the other add-on apart from AutoProctor doesn't require a unique link to be shared. All right. So so I think all of the questions have been answered. I think there's one question from Nilesh, and he's asking, can we reschedule the time if the student wasn't able to attempt the quiz at the time that was allotted to them for a real reason?
Yeah, you can. All you have to do is go back here, make whatever changes you want, and then click on update settings. It will automatically update. So you can always do with this. You can keep rescheduling. Yeah.
Great. And I think there are a couple of questions from teachers saying that in case we want a demo for our school, or we want a demo and pricing and want to have like more a larger conversation, who do they contact?
There is, you can just contact us via email, or
if you could share the email address.
Yeah, I'll share the email address. So I'll share two things now. Or maybe should I do it at the end, or can I do it now? I want to share the list of instructions which outlines everything that I've discussed, and the email ID. Do I do it now?
Yes, please do it now. Okay. And in the meanwhile, teachers, while Jayant is pasting all of these useful links, so what Jayant is going to be actually pasting is a set of instructions on how to use AutoProctor for your students and for teachers as well. And he's also going to be sharing the contact details. So in case, you want to use more than the free allocation that you have of your timed quizzes as well as your proctored quizzes, you can definitely reach out to him. And they offer both for schools as well as individuals, individual teachers to use the paid features, or the paid or the additional quizzes and capacity. So before you all sign off from this session, please do not sign off, because you all are going to get some important information now. I want you to please try to attempt this poll that I'm releasing. How comfortable do you feel with AutoProctor now, right? Like, are you comfortable with AutoProctor? Do you believe this is going to be useful for your classroom? So if you think it's going to be useful for your classroom and for your needs, please click on 5. And if you don't feel it's going to be useful to your needs, then you can click on 4, 3, 2, 1, depending on the degree of certainty that you feel. The second question is, how would you rate this session? So we're asking you this question so that, we get your feedback, which is very, very valuable to us, to see that, we improve our ability to moderate these live classes for you. So teachers, please be as honest as possible. Your feedback is only going to make us a lot more stronger and better at serving your needs. So do put in your feedback. I've seen only 50% of teachers have attempted the poll, requesting all teachers to please attempt this poll and tell us how useful or how comfortable you're feeling with AutoProctor, whether you're going to try it. Do you have some more doubts? How was the session for you? Was it not that great? Was it really good? Yeah. In case you would like to contact us at Teacher Class, I can see Dr. Supriya has requested. You can definitely reach out to me at info@teacherclass.org. We're very responsive at that email ID. I, in fact, check that email very, very regularly. So you can email me on that ID. Great. All right, I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to present the results to you. So you can see that, there are quite a few teachers who are feeling comfortable. They may have some doubts. Like a lot of our teachers, most of our teachers are going to try it once at least. And thank you for your ratings. You're very kind teachers. So we do hope that we can keep bringing you really great sessions. So now I'm just going to leave it open for a few more additional questions in case you feel like your questions weren't answered. Jayant, is there anything else that you would like to add? Any helpful information?
Well, I think I see from the results that there are lots of people who still have doubts. Please do not hesitate to contact us. I've sent the email ID there, hello@autoproctor.co. If you go, I'll send the link to the website. We also have a live chat feature enabled. So if you want to chat with us, you can just message us and someone from the AutoProctor team will respond to you with any issues that you may have. So either send us an email or chat with us. I'll send the link to the website. Just chat with us there and then we can help you out. I understand that many schools may have custom requirements. And so either if you want custom features, or if you want to discuss pricing, please send us an email about it and we are happy to have a chat.
So Jayant, we have one more question. That's, I think, a really great question. So we have someone asking us if I change my settings. Now, say, for example, I've shared the link with my students and I have updated my settings. Do I need to reshare the link that's generated, or will the old link still stand?
No, the old link stands. So if you make any changes here, right, you can make changes here. This link doesn't change. So it means that whatever settings you change here, that gets reflected automatically. You don't have to send a new link.
Great. And the second question that we have, which I think like maybe we went a little fast over, and if you can just spend 2 minutes showing these the teachers. So they're saying, can you show the report on the teacher's side? Can it be downloaded as a PDF? Where does it get stored? How do we recover the report? So if you could just show that part for the teachers so that they're aware of that.
Yeah, so there are two places where you'll see the results. One is what I showed you already, which is within the in the add-ons. You click on Timer plus Proctor, and then you click on Results, right? And then you will see something like this. Okay. If you want to see this on a separate page, there is this link called All Results, right, at the top. If you click that, it will open all the results. Okay, but if you click that, it will open all the results, right? This set of results will be opened on a page with let me show you. Something like this. Okay, it will have the name and when they submitted it, and the trust score and what device they used. And you can also filter it by which the classroom here is a Google Classroom. You can filter it by which Google Classroom. You can choose only the low trust score, the high trust score, and so on. Okay, so when you click on that link here, which is within the results section, you will get it. The same link will be, as I told you, the first time a student finishes a test, you will get a link to the report. And this all results link is the same as that student link. Okay, so yeah, you can open that and you can see. We do not yet have feature where the results can be downloaded as a PDF, but we expect that should be built in the next couple of weeks. It's something that people have been asking us, and so we're building it by Independence Day, let's say. We should have that feature built, so you can download that. Currently, you cannot download it. You'll get the results on the page, but we should soon have an export to PDF kind of thing where you can download it as a PDF.
That's great. That's great. All right. Thank you so much, Jayant. I think that brings us to the close of all of the questions that we have, I think a lot of teachers are telling us that this was really the need of the hour, and it's so great to have a session on something that solves a really present challenge that teachers are experiencing. I've been talking to many teachers myself, and I think it's universal, this challenge of whether or not students are cheating, right, during their quizzes and examinations, and this is a great solution to that challenge. Teachers, just letting you know that we have a session on Microsoft Forms tomorrow, and it's at 3 p.m. I've shared the link to sign up for that class. We're going to have an expert math teacher who's going to take up that session. So please do sign up for our live class. And if I could request all teachers to take literally 1 second and subscribe to our YouTube channel, it would be really, really helpful, because that your subscription and your following our channel will help us release more and more tutorials and videos. So requesting teachers to please text done once you've subscribed to our YouTube channel. All right. So I'm going to leave that link there for some time, requesting teachers to please click that link and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you, Jayant. This was really great.
Thanks, Sonia. Thanks, Teacher Class, and thanks, teachers, for bearing with me for an hour and a half. Thank you very much.
If you could just paste your contact details and the links that you had already shared once more in the chat.
I'll do that.
I think,
I'll do that.